What should I review next? Shit. What the hell? Rock and roll nightmare. Well, at least they're being honest. No. Well, I got nothing better to do. Hey guys, my name is Dice Rollin'. Today we're gonna dive headlong into studded cod pieces and tacky puppetry. This is my review of Rock and Roll Nightmare. Also known as The Edge of Hell, this was a direct-to-video film directed by John Fasano and was released in 1987. It stars Gillian Perry, Frank Dietz, and John Michael Thor? It was made in Canada and labeled as a horror comedy. Oh, good! That means it's gonna be self-aware and have humorous commentary on the horror genre. Right? Hold on, I need to call an official Canadian to address this.
Hello?
Queenie, it's Dice. I'm reviewing a movie here, and seeing as you're a Canadian and a heavy metal fan, I need your input here.
Okay, cool. What movie are you reviewing?
Rock and Roll Nightmare.
Oh no, honey. No.
The movie opens with a couple and their kid who live in a farmhouse as they're about to have breakfast, but something evil is afoot. In the fridge, apparently. And the oven. My god, it's the kitchen appliances from hell. Thank god they didn't buy the blender too. Oh well, sucks to be in that family, I guess. Next, we're shown what's essentially the perspective of a mouse on speed, as we're introduced to the people responsible for this heap. Stand back! This movie's got a case of we saw! Hey, you know what every great movie has? A 4-minute long driving scene. It really sets the tone for the whole movie. They wanted to immerse you in the moment and make you feel like you're actually in the van listening to shitty music with the band. Finally, the band, known as Triton, arrive at the isolated farmhouse that's clearly very far away from civilization, and we're introduced to the characters.
The goddamn farm!
No, you're doing it wrong. It goes like this. It looks like it's a goddamn farm. According to the highly trustworthy band's manager, Phil here, the farmhouse had been abandoned for a decade. This makes it perfect for a band wanting to record some music.
Hey, really, mate? What are we supposed to do here?
I'd recommend working on your accent.
You know, that recording company, RCS? right. They came here with Alice Cooper.
Hey! You leave Alice Cooper out of this. He's already been in a terrible 80s hairband horror movie. But just as the band heads inside, something terrifying happens. Whoop. Never mind. I guess the music got bored with this scene too. Could you two stop eye-fucking each other for 2 minutes, please? So everyone heads to their designated rooms to unpack, and Thor locks up the van. But he notices something in the window. Phew! For a second there, I was afraid something was actually going to happen. Anyway, they all have dinner, and the band goes out to the barn to practice while the others clean the dishes. You know, making a scene about characters doing the dishes interesting is hard. But I have to hand it to you, movie. You made it even less interesting. After this, we're treated to some of Thor's musical style.
It's time to stop!
We're also given a glimpse of one of the hideous creatures that lurks in the shadows threatening the band. What am I looking at here? Is that a penis? That's it! I can't! I guess this brings a whole new meaning to one-eyed monster. Phil goes to get a new drumstick for Stig after he breaks one, and Stig's girlfriend, Luann, corners him and tries to seduce him. But unfortunately for Phil, she's just a demonic leech. The rest of the band hears Phil's screams and go to investigate, only to find that neither Phil nor Luann are there.
Well, it sounded like the scream came from down here. You're right, let's go upstairs.
Sound logic? Everybody goes searching for Phil, and they come to the conclusion that he must have gone into town because the van is gone. So they go back into the house, and we get a bunch of awkward couples, coupling. And I guess Pee Wee Herman is really enjoying himself. Stig gets possessed, which is fortunate since we won't be hearing any more of his terrible accent. It seems that also means he's a hell of a lot better at sex, which isn't saying much. A group of, well, groupies show up knowing that the Triton Band is here because they can smell alcohol, sex, and a certain level of desperation that can only come from a Canadian 80s hair band a mile away. That sounds familiar. But I just can't put my shiny chrome ball on it. Phil invites the groupies inside, Phil's alive. And at the house, by the way, and tells them the band will be down shortly.
It's 2 a.m. The band will be down in about 20 minutes. So, let's whip out those breasts, girls.
I don't know what's funnier to me. The fact that Phil just cuts to the chase here, or that the groupies look 100% offended at the notion. Okay, ladies, it's 2 a.m. The band will be down any minute. Prepare your titties. How dare you? I'm saving them for Thor. Or Gene Simmons. Or Mick Jagger. Maybe Kenny Loggins. Phil scares the girls off by being Phil. And, you know, a pervert. Now you may be asking yourself, what was the point of that? There is none! Get used to it! Hey, nice monster hand, man. You get that with your eyeshadow from Hot Topic?
I'm sure Phil's not dead or anything, or he would have called.
It's beneath me. The next morning, during yet another riveting dishwashing scene, the newly married couple bites the dust. Oh, thank you! You see, turns out the discount demons are actually the good guys here. But enough of that hair-raising suspense. It's time for another rock session. No wonder they're trying so hard to get their performances right. They need to raise money so they can buy Thor some shirts that actually fit. Alright, as long as we have to sit through this, I might as well take a look at the lyrics here. Let's see. Girl, you take me where I wanna be. And you're where I wanna be.
That's it! I'm out!
Also, I noticed that there seems to be a theme between Thor and his girlfriend throughout the movie. While everyone else is banging away at each other and his girlfriend isn't just dropping hints, she's hitting him over the head with a cement baseball bat of hormones. Thor's just like,
I gotta start working on that new love song.
it's obviously because he's so focused on his work for the band that sex is absolutely not the first thing on his mind. Anyway, Stig and his girlfriend go outside for some possessed fun time. And right for the boob. But nobody seems to be concerned about the screaming, since they're too busy providing a gratuitous sex scene. Porn movies have a lot more plot than this movie. Well, after that completely lackluster fan disservice, we get... God, more of this? Listen, I hate to sound like a broken record, but if people wanted to see a bunch of pointless sex scenes that acted as anti-Viagra, they just watch The Room! This is a horror movie, and so far the only scary thing here is seeing Thor's naked ass. Suddenly, a perverse munchkin appears and lures Dee Dee and Max out to the barn, where it's revealed that the kid is actually a demon. Or partly shaved Shih Tzu. After this horrific shadow puppet show, only Thor and his girlfriend are left. You know what would really add substance here? If we got a Thor washing the dishes scene. Yes! Thank you! Oof, I don't know about you, but the Colonel's new KFC recipe is looking less and less appetizing. Thor goes out to the barn with his product placement and works on a love song. However, demonic creatures start to gather around.
Ah, it's back! Get it away! Get it away before I have to censor that thing!
I'm sorry? Can we see that again? I don't know which is funnier. The acting job on Thor's dropping his pen being as smooth as the ground in Death Valley, or the demon eel with the world's worst reflexes. And now, it just so happens that Thor's girlfriend has been replaced by something that's not just evil, but the evil. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a cross between an ant and one of those annoying little imps you come across in dungeon crawler games. Now, before we get into the climax here, I want you to take a guess on what's gonna happen. Just a wild ass guess. If you guessed that this is Satan and Thor is an archangel, then I need to know what drugs you're taking, because I'm pretty sure they're the same ones that Thor was taking when he wrote this. That's right, it's a biblical fight between good and evil where the band never existed because Thor made them up, which also means that he was literally having sex with himself a minute ago. But we're not gonna go into that because I just don't have the will.
You nasty.
Satan's dildo collection gets scared off and
I'm scarred for life!
oh yeah, there's also some evil starfish fighting with another rock song playing. I don't know why you're cutting to me. I'm along for the ride too. So we get a 4-minute long fight scene, I guess you could call it that, before Satan's like, fine, I give up, I'm out, deuces. Then Thor has a biblical speech in a graveyard, and we're shown a suburban house insinuating that Satan just went to a different house somewhere. With that, mercifully, the credits roll, letting us listen once again to Edge of Hell by Thor's own band. And that was Rock and Roll Nightmare. So what can I say about this film? This movie is a pinnacle of ultimate 80s hairband B-horror. It doesn't even have an official rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I kinda have to give some props for it being filmed in just a week, but it also shows quite a bit. The soundtrack, which obviously plays a big part here, isn't horrible. The rock songs that Thor and his band play are passable, and very much of the times. The other music that is supposed to set the mood does not do its job, and is often misplaced. Not to mention that throughout the whole movie, it's hard to make out what's being said, because the music is too loud. The settings are nothing truly spectacular or appealing, and the same can be said for the wardrobe. At least until the boss battle. I can always appreciate practical effects and creative designs, but the makeup was hardly ever seen, and when it was like the actors were wearing discount Halloween costumes. The puppets were unique, in that I've never seen a terrifying spawn of Satan represented as a phallic, cyclops lump of clay. And Satan himself looked like he really should be looking after himself more instead of dominating a barn. Seriously, he looked like he was starving and sickly. This is the devil! He's supposed to be terrifying and formidable, but instead he was just silly and so obviously fake you have to laugh. The acting is bad, yet not the worst I've seen. It's just... none of the characters were very likable, and they didn't give the audience much to grab onto to care about them. I also found myself confusing the married guy with the guy that the keyboard player Dee Dee was trying to get with. Thor is the focus, of course, but even his character is meh at best. We don't get any substance for character until the end. Even then, it's not totally clear what the hell just happened. Who is he really? Why is he the one to fight Satan? Has he done this before? Where's that backstory? The plot itself is held together with dental floss. It doesn't hold interest very well, and is weighed down by loads of scenes that do nothing to further the story at all, or give us reasons to like the characters. For a horror movie, there were very few scenes that were meant to scare us or build tension. And when we did get them, it was like someone going, ooh, isn't that scary? But to paraphrase Antagony and Ecstasy, it did give us exactly what any good horror movie should. A blonde with huge tits in the shower. So, is Rock and Roll Nightmare the worst horror movie ever? No. Don't get me wrong, it's bad, but it's not the worst. It's actually a prime example of what fans of bad B horror movies look for. Bad acting, cheesy monsters and effects, a plot that makes no sense, and it's just fun to watch with some friends so that you can take turns having a laugh at its expense. As a matter of fact, Thor has said that he loves B horror movies himself. So in a way, I feel like he fulfilled his goal in creating this movie. Maybe it wasn't received as well as he had hoped, but there are a lot of people who have a special place for it in their hearts for one reason or another. And Thor seems like a genuinely nice guy who's still rocking today. Is this a good time to mention that one of the former names for the band was Thor and the Ass Boys? So with that being said, I give Rock and Roll Nightmare 2 out of 10 bloody thumbs up. I'd recommend it to lovers of terrible B and C level horror movies, fans of the band Thor, and anyone who would like to see slightly better acting than In the Room. At least there's one good thing about Rock and Roll Nightmare. John Thor never made any more horror movies. See you later.